So now we've come to our guided practice part of the lesson. This is where you will evaluate the appropriateness of two different graphics in relationship to a text. The first step is to identify which two types of graphics are included with the text. Then the next step is that you're going to have to analyze what is the main idea, purpose, message, topic of the text. Then you're going to have to evaluate which graphic is appropriate for the text. You will be able to look back at your notes and use them to help you evaluate, and you're going to be synthesizing the graphic and the text, which means that you're going to look at both of them to gain a bigger picture of the topic. Finally, you must justify why you chose the graphic you chose. I will model an example for you. So when I look at the first graphic, it looks like it's drawn with pencil, and it reminds me of To Kill a Mockingbird, which I know has fictional characters. Because I remember writing in my notes that illustrations are often used when the picture is not available of the characters, I come to the conclusion that this is an illustration. My next graphic is a bunch of points connecting lines. At the bottom, I see that the different colored dots correlate to characters from To Kill a Mockingbird. I realize that this is probably a chart or a graph because it looks like a scatter plot. I remember that graphs are more numerical, whereas charts show how ideas connect. So because this graphic is showing relationships of sub-themes in To Kill a Mockingbird, I think it's probably a chart. So now I move on to the text. Scout, Jean Louise Finch, narrator of the story. The story takes place from the time Scout is age 6 to 9, but she tells the story as an adult. Scout is a tomboy who would rather solve problems with her fists than with her head. Throughout the course of the book, Scout comes to a new understanding of human nature, societal expectations, and her own place in the world. Atticus Finch, Maycomb attorney and state legislative representative who is assigned to represent Tom Robinson. A widower, Atticus is a single parent to 2 children, Jim and Scout. So when I look at the text, I see characters' names with brief descriptions. So this makes me think that this text is a character analysis of Scout and Atticus. So I'm going to write that down for my analyzing the text because I think that that's probably the main point. So I'm going to put down character analysis here. Okay, so now I need to move on to which graphic is appropriate. So I know that the text's main focus is on character development. So when I look back at the graphics, I think that graphic A gives the reader a visual of the characters, and graphic B shows information about theme and about plot. So based on this information, I'm going to pick graphic A. Finally, I'm going to justify my answer. I chose graphic A because topically it's more connected to the text. Both are about characters in the story. So I'm going to write here, both deal with character. Okay, so I'm going to go back through my steps. The first thing I had to do is I had to identify what my 2 graphics were. So I chose illustration and chart. Then I had to analyze the text. So I read the text and I identified that I thought that it was about character analysis, or it wasn't a character analysis. Then I had to pick the appropriate graphic. So I chose letter A. And the reason, my justification, that I chose graphic A is because both of them deal with character.